It's Foreigner Affair. And our hosts, Leo and Macy.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Foreigner Affair episode 7. I'm Leo.
And I'm Macy, the co-host. As always, we're going to start out with the weather today. For Tuscany, Italy, it's 60 degrees and it's raining a little bit today, so get out your umbrellas. As for Erskine, it's finally starting to warm up. Looking at 65, so hopefully we'll start getting a little bit of a tan. Us Norwegians need that. We have a very special guest with us today, Mr. Doug Johnson. It's nice to have you. Tell us a little bit about yourselves.
I was actually born in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, and my folks moved us to Jamestown, North Dakota when I was just 4. Went to high school there, graduated from there, went to Morehead State College, Teachers College at the time, called MSUM now, and got my teaching degree in history, elementary, got a master's degree at BSU a while back. About myself, I like leisure. My wife sometimes can't imagine, how can you get so much leisure time in playing Scrabble and things? I play Scrabble against myself because she won't play. I like poetry. I like solitude. I love reading. What else? Yeah.
Okay, so when did you actually start working as a teacher?
As a teacher, I started in 1979 in a grade school just north of Fargo. I was there 2 years. And then we had gone up to my wife's, the farm, and coming back, drove into Morehead one day thinking, this town really reeks, and I think we're tired of it. The beet plant was there, and it was spring. It was stunk like crazy. So my folks were moving from Jamestown to the Park Rapids area. So I just took a point between the farm up in northwest Minnesota and Park Rapids. I took a point in the middle and drew a 30-mile radius around it, and I applied to every school in that circle. And McIntosh called me up. It was 1981. So
So actually, how many years did you do here at Winnemac?
well, this is the end of 41 now. Yeah. 41 glorious years, I might add.
Glorious.
Hanging out with kids. It's been fun.
What about the subject? You have always teach geography in this.
hmm I have an elementary degree, so I taught 7 years of 6th grade, and a year of 5th and year of 4th. One class followed me up as 4th graders, 5th graders, 6th graders, and then I got them again as seniors. That was sometime in the 90s. But for the most part, I've taught government and history and geography, civics.
And these have always been your real plan since you decided I want to be a teacher, like being a history teacher.
Yeah, it was since 3rd grade. It sounds weird, but as a 3rd grader, I remember saying, I'm going to be a history teacher when I grow up. And I don't know if it had to be history. My dad was a teacher. I had 2 grandparents that were teachers. 2 of my other siblings are teachers. All 3 of my kids have teaching degrees. So it was sort of seen as, I think, kind of a blessing in your life to be a teacher. I would see my dad would be outside in the summer working on a car, and high school students would come by and just stop and they'd talk to him for an hour. And I thought it was awesome. It was cool. Even as a young kid, I thought, I think I want to do that. I want to be doing something in the summer and young people stop by and,
And how is it now? The expectation was as you thought when you were young? Like being a teacher is as you...
Was that an expectation?
Yeah.
Not really. My folks were always encouraging us to try things, to do things. You don't have to be great at it. You just have to find out, what would really excite you. So, I mean, they were always great supporters of us, even though I was not that great a student in high school. My brain was okay, but I was not a student. I mean, we run into that all the time in school here. people who have really good brains but are not good students. It's just by choice. It's mostly by choice, you know.
What about this school? What can you say about this school? Like, I don't know if you want to tell some stories about all those years that you spent here, or something particular about this school that you like.
Yeah. I like the location for one thing. I'm only 5-6 minutes from home.
Yeah.
I've even biked here at times, just a couple times. I'm not like the teacher over in Plymouth or Portland, North Dakota, who's biked to school in all weather for like 40 years, all the way through the winter and everything. It's ridiculous. But this school, I've always felt like I have freedom to do what I want to in my classroom. Hardly anybody's ever dictated to me, you have to do it this way, you have to teach it this way, you have to bury this part of your personality. You can't talk about certain issues. In social studies, we sort of get away with. We can talk about just about anything. Oh, that's social studies. You're talking about religion again. That's social studies. You're talking about whatever the issue is.
Right.
It's part of the territory with social studies. So I've had administrators that haven't micromanaged, which I think is nice. And I think it's enjoyable to have had a lot of students after I had their parents, even. You know, in fact, I have a student right now. I had his grandmother and father, grandmother, father, grandson. I don't know what that says about me. Glutton for punishment. I don't know, but I think it mostly says if there's success in my career, it's been because I like kids. Get pumped up by being around kids. Sorry to say this, but I don't get that pumped up around adults sometimes. Although adult-like students are fun. And I think I've always found ways to enjoy people that aren't really students, who are really good at something that school never gives them a chance to do, like mechanics or something like that. Nobody can prove how great a mechanic they are in a school. And yet that's the guy who's going to be fixing my car in the future, or the nurse who's going to be prepping me for surgery or something. They don't get to prove that skill in school at all. And yet they're highly skilled people. And we've had a lot of people that were just barely passed out of school here who have become really good businessmen. It's farmers, you know. My passion is farming. You can't prove that in school in any way.
Right.
But I've always had fun talking to kids like that. And usually they're coming back and gabbing with me.
So about the thing that you said, that you had the grandparents, parents, and kids from the same family, we
Mhm.
actually interviewed also Mr. Langmo, that he said that he has
Yeah.
you as teacher.
Yeah.
Now he's teaching with you. What about that?
Yeah, it's been a pleasure to have had former students either get into teaching or be inspired in some way, you know, by, you know, things you've done maybe. I had a kid my first year teaching here, who's now 58 years old, I suppose, who got into politics. He's a farm kid, but he was a representative of a legislative district north of us for maybe 8 years. And he said, I probably got into it because of our discussions in class. And we had a social issues class back then. But yeah, teaching with Mr. Langamo, Adam Jory, who's a para here. I had Mr. Kopang as a student. Gunnifson was a student of mine. Probably several more. very gratifying to have them come back as teachers. And you know, you hear people say, "Well, if you can't do anything," it it. I don't know why they say that. I suppose part of it is they don't. They probably see the job as not very successful. Well, if you look, what did you do for that kid? Nothing. They don't realize the difficulties you have of inspiring people to learn. Some people come out of situations where family situations, maybe there's just no inspiration to succeed. Or, well, once you get past school, then you're going to start living, you know, and so it's not really an easy task, what you set out to. I think if you can get people to feel like I can learn, I can be productive, I can be a leader, I can actually take a leadership role. I mean, there's a lot of intangible skills maybe that are built in working with other students, trying to working with teachers, patience, and you know, just how to deal with frustration. And sometimes school is only an exercise in those sort of things, where you're just building a general block of skills that may not even be related to anything you do in the future. You know, oh, you went through school, you did really well, you got good scores on this, you stuck it out. We know you're going to be good at this because you made it through that situation. Now we're going to train you to be this because we know you're trainable. You know?
Right.
I'm not sure I'm answering any question, yes, but
So how do you feel now? You feel more sad or happy for the fact that you're retiring?
well, I just said to a class the other day, this is the last novel I'm ever going to read to a class of students. But, you know, I've got 7 grandkids that live in this area. And I had one of them reading to me this week. And I was reading back to her. And I read to them, too. One of them said, well, in 6th grade, we're reading Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry, too. Oh, I got the book. Here, I'll read you the chapter you're on. So there's still a pleasure of learning. I've always enjoyed learning myself. Of course, just like any student, I want to be the one to choose what I want to learn. You know, government class, I don't know about that, or whatever. Economics, you know, I want to read my novel, or I want to read the thing that fires me up. So I've always enjoyed reading and learning, hearing people's opinions. Of course, I'll be leaving people behind, missing people. There's actually a very good teaching staff here right now. You kids probably don't realize it. And their biggest strength is they actually do like kids. They really, sometimes it doesn't seem like we do, but we do. I don't think you have people staying with teaching for 20, 30, 40 years. We have several people on the staff right now, maybe 8 or 9 that have already been in it 20 years plus. So that's the good thing. And I know who's replacing me is going to be outstanding. So better than I am in a lot of things, which is always a good thing to know. Yeah, I mean, it's weird about former students, for example. My first 4 or 5 classes, I remember the names of those kids and details about their lives better than I do more recent students even, which is probably a sign of Alzheimer's or something. Yeah, they say that about people. Oh, they remember everything from back when they were 18. They can't remember what they had for breakfast, you know.
Just because you're retiring doesn't mean you're.
That's part of it, and it is weird. It's weird when I run into former students who are already retired themselves. You're retired? So yeah, I'm just sort of going to shift, I think. Like this last week, we've been watching 3 of our grandkids. So, I mean, I just was reminded how much you had to run as a parent when your kids were in school. I've been to a track meet, a golf meet, 2 music contests, a church event just this week, plus running kids to school every morning and picking them up afterwards. So I'll have plenty to do. But yes, there'll always be a nostalgic feeling about Winnimac, about kids here, about lives that impacted my life. Because you always talk about what impact have you had? It's their impact on me. It's been awesome. That's what's been one of the sweetest things I can think of. When people say, "What's been the meaning of your life?" It's the blessing I've gotten from being around young people. It's been amazing.
Well, I think it's not only the lives that impacted you, you've impacted so many lives for other people too.
Well, I hope people have felt like they were cared for. My wife's been a big influence that way because she is much more intuitive than I am. And she'll say, "I know exactly what's happening. You need to deal with this. You need to talk to this person. You need to call this person. You need to send a message to this person," whatever. So, when they say that two people become one, sort of, you build on the best qualities as a couple, and you just, behind they always used to say, behind any successful man is an amazing woman. There's a lot of truth to it. There's a lot of truth to that. I'm not whomever, There's a lot of truth to it out there.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Yeah.
Well, just want to say thank you again for all the years you put into Winnimac and all the lives you changed. So, thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great week.
See you in the next episode.
Thank you. All right.
It's Foreigner Affair.